Hello and welcome back to the Magic Ball Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. A bit of a backstory actually. This weekend I filmed a couple games of this particular deck and I had some really kind of interesting games. And then what I did is instead of hitting the record button, I hit the preview button. And we lost all of them. So right now this evening we're going to be playing some games just to see how this deck goes. We're playing against Adam. They chose the directives, so now we can choose. They're going to have heavy HQ multi-axis, which is okay, because we can technically rush out behind a spiderweb turn one, so I think we're going to keep this. To give you a bit of an idea of what this deck is, I'm going to use Foxfire Trashing. Am I going to see Foxfire Trash directives? Best defense does it. Best of luck, have fun. So this deck particularly is a Gagarin deck, and it's running off the grid, which is really exciting, and it's also running Crisium grid. So the idea is you ice up HQ, and then the runner has to make basically 2 runs on HQ to be able to run the off the grid server where you can just start scoring agendas in a remote. I think against Adam is not running always be. Oh, they are running always be running. So we're just gonna score this off in server 1 because they can only click the single sub ice, and we might get them here. The worst they could do is run, basically get an access, install E3, run this. Oh, they don't have enough clicks, so that's gonna be good. Adam's an interesting matchup, and I think choosing neutralize all threats is actually pretty bad against a Gagarin deck, just because there's gonna be a lot of assets, and this will make you trash your money. And if you're playing against Wayland, you have to expect things like hard hitting news. You have to expect a lot of things that might punish you for not having enough money. We're not actually running that. Oh, they got the off the grid. We're running a full vegan deck, and we're actually trying to score on a server, which might be a problem in the current meta, but so far the games I played this weekend, it was actually kind of fun. The cool thing about playing friends in high places, it lets you install off the grid and Crisium grid all for 1 click, so that you can actually score, you can set up your combo, crap, we lost one, but you can set up your combo for just 1 credit, and that's actually pretty good. Data folding is going to hit the table, so they're probably running a pretty small rig. Oh, they're also running bug. So I have no idea what's going on anymore. Oh, if we don't protect HQ, they'll access 2 cards, and basically they'll be able to afford the trash to the Jackson. We can just advance this 4 times. I don't think we're actually have to score it. Like, we can leave this on the table and use this as a thing to click for credits, because with 3 credits, it's very unlikely, and the fact that they have to spend their first click running, it's very unlikely that they'll be able to get into server anytime soon. So there's a double access here. Remember, the first card they have to trash the access, so they can't afford to trash Crisium, which means if they access Jackson after it, I believe, they don't have to trash it, right? Yes. So it's only the first one they run. So even if they hit the Jackson after that, and that's fine. And yeah, the top of R&D is going to be a bit, like they can take pot shots at it, which is kind of not good. So if we want to draw an agenda, we're going to ice that up. And Veritas is actually a pretty good ice, because if you click through it, it's still gonna do its work, and that's pretty great. I'm assuming they're running bug just because bug works with multi-threader, and you get to use those multi-threader credits just to see every card the corp draws, and that's actually, for 1 influence, is probably a nice way to use multi-threader. And there we got E3 on the table, so they can now click through this piece of ice, so just in time we're going to be able to score it. And they aren't running, go ahead and score that. They aren't running the one that sees the top of the deck. I think we can afford to advance this one twice and then put a piece of ice on R&D. Because every time we advance this twice, we get 2 credits from it, which is pretty sweet. If we put this on R&D, even if they click through this twice and spend 2 credits, that's a lot. That's asking for a lot. And we do have 2 pieces of ice so that we can't put this on to score in the remote, because they'll still need a breaker. They have to pay to trash Jackson, which is good, because it's going to stop them from setting up further down this turn, just because they have 0 credits now, and basically almost every card costs money to put down. So they're going to be clicking for credits, and they got their brain chip out, so their hand size is +2 and their MU is +2, which is pretty good with data folding. If we draw now, we can install it in the server and put Enigma in front of it, so it's not actually that risky. And we got a CST, so I think we're going to just keep this out of HQ, just because they have good HQ multi-access. So put that in server 1 and put that in front of it. So now they need a proper breaker, because if they use always be running on one of these, that's not going to do it for them. So they're running here. If we res this, at least one of the subs is going to fire. And that will put us down into 4 credits, which is enough to res this, but not enough to score that. I think it's fine, because we can still click for a credit and play hedge fund next turn. And then, like, click for credit, play hedge fund, and then advance this. So we can probably get this out while also being able to afford the Enigma. So let's see what they do here. This one's actually really interesting. They probably won't break the loose 2, considering they'll just lose 1, and they'll probably just, yeah, so they fire the 2, so that makes sense. So we don't get any money from that, but we basically wasted 1 credit in half their turn, which is pretty sweet. Top card of R&D is still holding off, and this thing is not going to be easy to run through with E3. Like, it's going to be really annoying, and we're not giving him bad pub. One thing you noticed already about this deck, and maybe that's just how bad the draw is I don't actually think we have a compelling reason to play Gagarin. I only realized Gagarin only works on remotes. Or, yeah, so even if we play Crisium on HQ, it doesn't get more expensive. And that's kind of sucks. So I think we can do that, and start to score this off. With 4 points scored, hopefully, we'll be able to score global food and close the game. Otherwise, we're going to be scoring 2 agendas. And I actually kind of like this. Playing the ice game is not so good. That's the thing though, is if we put Spiderweb on HQ, and then we do draw Friends in High Places, which is a 3 of this deck, we basically will put off the grid onto this server, and then put a piece of ice here and a Crisium here. So they'll have to run HQ twice, which is not really possible currently with Adam. And that's kind of pretty good. We're also running Breaker Break Grid, so that if we can pull back the Breaker Break Grid and the off the grid with Friends in High Places, we basically res off the grid for 1 credit, which is not too bad at all. They're just clicking for credits. So this is tricky. So we're probably going to lose the Atlas. The other option we have is we can draw once and then not score this. But I think if they're clicking for credits, they probably have a breaker of some sort, considering they've been getting regular free draw. So I think it's worth scoring this. Let's see if we lose the Atlas. We have a 50% chance of losing the Atlas. And if we don't, and they don't have a breaker, we're in a pretty good spot. Because we can over advance the Atlas. And they're demo running. Oh, that's really cool. So now they'll basically 100% if they run twice, they will get that Atlas. So let's see if they run twice. So that Project Atlas did survive. They trashed both Crisiums, and now they're going to pull out the Atlas. I didn't expect that. That's kind of cool. And they got the Atlas, so now they're at 4 points, which means they have 4 more hand size, 4 MU, extra force. They have 8 MU, so they're probably playing Overmind. I assume Overmind's always really good with this deck. And if they have Overmind, right, they can't get into the server, so nothing's really safe. Excalibur is kind of cool on HQ. They can always click through it or use an Overmind counter, but I think it's worth putting on HQ. If we draw into a card now, we have to put in the server, we're kind of actually in a bad spot. We really need that Crisium off the grid. Preemptive, I don't think we want a preemptive right now because we are playing Friends in High Places. Another Jackson's good. If we put in the server, we might actually bait them out to run the server, and I think that's okay. Just because if they have to play their Overmind and they have to use Overmind counters, that's kind of good for us. Just because they only have a limited quantity of them. So let's see what they do here. It's actually another demo run, and that's totally fine. Because we have the Jackson. Worst case scenario, we do lose I want to keep the Excalibur if we can. So they got the preemptive. Oh, perfect. And they got the Spiderweb. So we do have the Excalibur. It's pretty sweet. And now they're going to go single axis. That's actually a lot of pressure, right? Double demo run, but we're kind of asking for it, not icing up HQ. This is an Atlas that looked like it would have gone through. And Armitage on the table. So they're going to be able to click for money. Mouseless on HQ is pretty good because you have to click through it. I think we want to drop with Jackson. If we draw an agenda and we feel bad about it, we can always, let's try again. We can always throw one out. And Adonis is pretty good. They will be able to trash this. I think we just put Mouseless on HQ because if they hit it and they don't want it to fire, that's double click and 2 credits. And that's, double click is a lot. That's a lot of the turn. So they're going to hit this. We still have money to hedge fund up, which is pretty sweet. And if you want to double click through this and pay 2, I don't know if you have to actually pay 2. You might be able to take net damage, but that actually is pretty good, right? That's most of their turn, and they're not actually going to get anything good. They hit the Adonis, so that's 3 credits more done. So now they're actually pretty far away from being able to play, what's it called? Being able to play, dang it, being able to play that, wow, that AI card, Overmind. So draw up. We do have the Friends in High Places, so we can begin to set up the combo. All we want to do is make sure that HQ is taxing enough. And I think we can do that by putting Excalibur on it. And just not res it until it actually matters, until we surprise them with it. So next turn what we do is we have enough money, we Friends in High Places, and we put back off the grid, and we put back Crisium on HQ. They're running R&D, which they have a chance of actually getting an agenda here. We could consider shuffling just to lower those odds. Just because we haven't seen one in a while, the density of R&D is a bit higher. Let's see how things go here. Nah, we're holding off. For that reason, also, we might consider shuffling Jackson just so that we have a fresh card on top, but I don't know how good that is. That's an Adonis, and they couldn't afford to trash it. I think we're going to put that in a remote for sure, just to get that going. And I think we're going to put down 2 remotes, just so it's much easier for us to afford the Friends in High Places into Crisium, into Off the Grid, because if we don't have a Breaker Bay grid, like, that's really expensive. And we'll throw those down. Bailiff is good, but I think Bailiff is technically the worst. Actually, Double Excalibur is probably the worst, considering this card is unique and you can only have 1 res at a time. Corporate sales team doing pretty good work for us. Running archives here because we threw out a card and they have to run anyways, and that's totally okay. We didn't throw out an agenda. I guess they were hoping that we would shuffle with Jackson, and or they want to do something this turn that doesn't involve clicking through stuff. Up to 9 credits is money. That's overmind money, right? And now they're all the way up at 13. I think we're going to afford to res both of these, and we can put the Bailiff onto the Adonis, which is good because that protects it almost regardless of what happens. If we put that in Oaktown in this server, I don't think they're going to run HQ, so I'm probably just going to wait for the combo to go up and protect our money. Like, I think that's probably better. I don't think I want to overdraw with Jackson because if we get more agendas in HQ, it's pretty rough. They also could trash the pad campaign. It's going to cost them 5 credits, and I don't mind that much about this. I'd rather protect this, because if they have to double click, we gain a credit, and they have to pay 4 to trash this. That's actually pretty good for us, too. We could put another piece of ice on R&D as well, but then that would make it a 50-50 of getting an agenda on HQ, and I kind of don't want to do that. We could draw up once and then put another piece of ice there, and I think that's probably fine. The question is whether we draw or not with Jackson. Because if we draw with Jackson, we have to throw out a card. I'd rather just normal draw. Ah, fuck, another agenda. That's pretty bad. So that's what I was worried about, but I guess now it's not on R&D. Ichi's no good right now, considering they don't have agendas. Or, sorry, they don't have cards installed, programs specifically. And they are making some good money. Like 14 credits. Let's see if these go through. So they're going to run this. If they want to hit this, I guess we paid 2 for this, but we got 1 back. And they're going to spend 4 credits to deny us 9, but they're also going to spend 2 clicks. Technically deny us 8. Well, it's, I guess 9 again, because we paid 2 for this. And so they're actually going to run for it, and that's most of their turn. If we draw another Friends in High Places, we can just put Adonis back, which is pretty sweet. And the pad campaign's probably going to go through, unless they run it now. But actually, it's going to be Hunting Grounds, which prevents an on-encounter ability, and we actually have none of this deck. A Breaker Bay Grid is perfect, because that really eases the res cost. I think I'm going to wait this turn. Actually, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Yeah, we probably should have done that. Because if we, Friends in High Places, we'll put the Crisium in off the grid. And we want to do that the same turn that we can install Advanced Oaktown. So I'm just hoping they don't run HQ. They probably won't run HQ considering we have 2 pieces of ice. And it seems like it's almost going to be impossible to get in here if this one ends the run. So we'll just click for credits. And next turn, I think we're going to be off. There's a chance they might actually run this pad campaign and trash it. Spending 5. Which is a lot. Fuck, they are running HQ. God damn it. There's no point resing this. So we could actually just lose the game right here. Ah, shit. Always be running 2 credits, single axis, or double axis, more accurately. Let's see if we get lucky here. This could be the entire game. Veritas, that's good. And Oaktown, shit, that's the one we wanted. So now they're on game point. Kind of got unlucky there. And we're going to definitely have to combo out immediately. Question is whether we pot Jackson before we draw, and I think we do, just so we have a higher chance of drawing not an agenda, which is something we don't want to do. So drawing hedge funds seems pretty good. We're going to leave a Crisium in here. I think we'll just put a Jackson back. Yeah, because all these other ones we want to leave in there just so Friends in High Places looks sweet. We also have a food, so we could just... oh, we can't install Advance that, which is a bummer. Ah, shit. Because we're going to have to score 2 of these anyways. So the only other option is we can install Advance this. If we had another Friends in High Places, it would be really, really, really safe. Because then we could, like, pull out another Crisium. So I think we can afford to draw once. Hope we don't draw an agenda. Then install the project. Oh, maybe we install Advance the Project Atlas just so we can find another Crisium. Yeah, let's try that. So let's put this in server 1. Let's advance it. And last click Friends in High Places. It's gonna make HQ actually. Oh shit, that makes HQ pretty bad. Let's see what they do here, and they're gonna run HQ anyways. So we'll put this on HQ. We'll put this on server 1. The thing is we don't have to res this immediately because they don't have any shot of running through here. Click 1. And just because they can't break everything, and I don't mind if they do that. So as soon as they put a breaker, we basically res breaker, big grid, and off the grid. They also probably won't run HQ, assuming that they got their agenda. Oh, fuck. I think we just lose. Ah, god damn it. We did nothing this game. We just lost to HQ pressure. So we have a 1 in 3 chance of winning here. Not looking too good. Also, if yeah, it doesn't matter whether or not we res this. Okay, just hold our breath. Veritas from HQ, Ichi from HQ. Shit, yeah. And Crisium Grid they have to trash for a whopping 5 credits. It's a lot of money, right? And now this thing is no longer safe. I'm gonna also use the Atlas token if they run again. The only problem is off the grid no longer works. Oh, I guess it does. And it's still probably fine, because they don't have a way to res Excalibur. Like, we don't need the Crisium that much. And they're using Dr. Lovegood, which is okay. So we have 2 choices. One of them is draw up, just to make the HQ access worse, and then just advance this, which I think is probably fine. Yeah, just so we don't draw an agenda. And then advance this. And then I guess we're going to have to score the food next turn. Which is kind of a bummer, but could be okay. They don't have to run this turn with 1 credit. I don't think they want to run, so they're gonna always be they're gonna Dr. Lovegood the box on always be running. It's the text box, so it is totally blank right now. And they're just gonna click for credits, so they might go for the whole Overmind off the grid play. Dang, they have a lot of cards in hand. Oh, we actually drew a Crisium, which again, if we install advance this, we don't have time to do. So let's just do the math. If we install advance this, we're going to be down to 7 credits. This costs 1 to res, and this costs 3 to res. I think regardless, we don't have to res this until they like put down a breaker. So I think we can go for it, right? Because we're going to pay 1 plus 4 for this if we get the pad money. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's enough. I think we can probably close the game here. See how things go. Install advance. As soon as they put down a program, we have to res breaker, big grid, and off the grid. And then in that case, they have to double click their Excalibur. Oh, I guess if they have an AI breaker, not so much. So let's see what they blank here. Yeah, so we can res this. So that's going to buy us a click because they can't get through this one. So things seem actually pretty good. I'm not sure why they're resing that, because if this was an end to run, like they have to click through it. If this was like something really bad, they have to click through it. I'm not sure how bad it could be. And they're also going to lose a click and end the run. So now we're going to res all this stuff, just so they have to run HQ. And we exactly have 3 credits left, so even if they trash this, we're fine. So in theory, they'd have to run HQ and run this while also installing a program. So I think we definitely have it, unless we lose off the top of R&D, which is a possibility. Like, I don't even think we should have res this. We could have kept 4, but I guess that doesn't keep us out, and that doesn't let us score. So no, this seems okay. So, what do they do here? So they're playing Traffic Jam. That's interesting. Luckily, it's not going to do anything. They were hoping that this is another corporate sales team. But it looks like it's just this winning agenda, and we're going to score 9 whopping agenda points. And that'll pull us out. Good game. That HQ pressure is pretty nuts. And as much as we said that maybe this was the wrong choice considering we're running on assets, this deck actually isn't an asset spam deck, which is not something you should expect from Gagarin. Gagarin generally plays a lot of assets because you want to use that ability. Thanks for the game. But that's the idea of this deck, is basically at any turn where you have like a 1-click, if you have like a 1-turn window, if you play Friends in High Places and have a sufficient amount of money so you can Friends in High Places back off the grid and Crisium, you can actually make scoring in a remote like pretty reasonable. As long as, you know, there's not ice destruction on HQ, and generally people don't target ice destruction on HQ. They'd rather like just medium you through R&D. Will we be better off playing another identity? There's a big argument for it. Like, we could swap to more operation economy instead of playing Adonises and Breaker Bay Grid and all the other fun stuff. And actually play like just building a better world. And that actually could be reasonable considering we're playing like preemptive action. I think it's a 1 of, right? Just because like this has a 0 trash cost and it's never gonna matter. I guess like does make Breaker Bay Adonis slightly better. And that's also really good with friends in high places, but I'm not convinced this is so good. There's an argument also just to play Blue Sun and then play Stronger Ice on HQ, but I'm not actually that interested in playing Big Ice right now, considering like Siffer's around and Big Ice isn't as good as it used to be. The idea of this deck was to run like HB-esque Ice, considering that LSK, a player that I really like their decks, just recently played Off the Grid in HB and apparently won. I think they won a Star Championship with it this weekend, and I'm going to be playing that deck real soon because that sounds awesome. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to try and grab another game of this, and then we'll throw that up on the channel. Stay tuned. There's videos every night and live stream Thursday, 8:45 Eastern. Ciao.